So the first thing that you should do before you start making bread is have a cup of coffee. I have also got all my ingredients ready. Starting with the temperature of the water, which should be between 70 and 90 degrees. First you put in the water. That is 1 cup plus 3 tablespoons. Then your oil, and I'm just using canola oil. And that is 2 tablespoons of oil. This is 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. My bread maker says always use kosher salt. So here it is. 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Now the fun part. So what I did was I used 3 cupfuls of perfectly measured flour, and that's bread flour, by the way, and I aerated it because the recipe that I'm using calls for a aeration, so it will not be that dense, a less dense bread. So you know how to aerate, just either sift it or use a whisk. Pour that into the bread maker next. So here is the last of the flour. And then they say make a well in the flour because the wet and the dry are put in separately, because the last thing that you add in is your bread yeast in that little hole. And that is what that is. That is Fleischmann bread yeast, rapid rise. Let me get the last bit of that in and then I'll continue. That's all done. And as I have noticed, my bread machine is very quiet, but when I made a video of it, the camera being so close makes it very, very loud. But this is the next process. So you turn on your bread machine, you hit the program. I'm making 1.5 pound loaf. It is the number 1, which is for white bread. My color is going to be a medium because that's what everybody seems to be using. The size is set, and I'm going to hit start. And the kneading begins. The wet is being incorporated with the dry. Everybody says to watch this part because sometimes you have to add a little water or more flour. I will do that and come back in a bit. It is done, and it is going into the first rise. So I'm going to just close the lid again, leave that be for a little while, and come back. Well, that's exactly what it says. The second kneading is going on right now. When this stops, it'll go into rise number 2. And then we'll take a look. So here we are on the second rise. I am a little late in filming this part. Started a little bit ago. Getting nice and pillowy. Very, very nice. We'll take a look at it later. So about 5 or 6 minutes ago, bread maker made some noise. The paddle removal sound, because it said paddle. I did take the dough out, remove the paddle, reshaped it a little bit, put it back in, and now it's in rise number 3. So after the last rise, it about doubled in size, and now we are on the bake mode. We'll look at it when it's done. So, we are at the end of the full cycle of the cooking of the bread. It goes into a keep warm mode. If we turn on the light and we look inside that, it looks nice and perfectly browned. Let's open it up and take a nice look at it. We'll leave it be and let it cool for a little bit, and then I'll take it out. Well, meet Mr. Monkey, my silicone oven mitt, which we will use to take the cooking pan out of the bread maker. A little counterclockwise turn pulls the pan out. We'll put it onto the cooling rack for now, and I will attempt to take that out after it cools, and I'll show you the finished loaf. Well, here we go. We will let this come out, and with a turn of the I like the little marking we put on the top of the bread by putting it on the bread rack. We almost have a slice marker. Well, there it is. I will cut it up, let it cool, and then enjoy. It slices up very, very nicely. I'm going to make myself a sandwich. I'll let you know how it was.